I think in most cases it is a commitment to the field and a desire to see excellent science published and to stop subpar science being published. I think that's a motivation for many of them. But then, yeah, being listed as an editorial board member, our journals are considered prestigious in the field, and we know that they have their positions as editorial board members and as associate editors listed on their CVs, as they should. And we're happy that they do that. And so, yeah, it's a badge of honor, I suppose, serving in that capacity for a well-known journal.
So our statistical review board members are compensated well below market rate for their time, but it is a compensated process. Our regular editorial board members are not, as much as we would like to do so. But we do try to include them in annual meetings and strategy. Of course, they have the ear of the editor-in-chief, which I think can help move science forward. And then, of course, the recognition from being on the journal's editorial board. I do wish we could do more for them. We include them at a reception at our annual meeting. Of course, we also consider moving them to the associate editor role later on. So I think it is a good learning opportunity for them. Our ad hoc reviewers, we recognize annually. We publish their names in the January issue of the journal to thank them for their work. We look at the set of ad hoc reviewers who reviewed the most manuscripts in a given year, as well as their turnaround times, and recognize publicly the top 5 for each of the journals. We invite them to the reception and just try to promote the excellent work that they've done for us. And we also consider them for committee appointments, editorial board appointments as well.
For all journals, that continues to be something that we struggle with. Most journals don't offer a monetary incentive for peer reviewers to stay engaged. Some of the things that we have done in the past is we have, of course, acknowledged the journal's peer reviewers who fall into our top % of reviewers. We put in place a system that we use to evaluate or critique the quality of peer reviews, but we look at the actual content, whether or not it's sound. It really is utilizing our author reviewer checklist, providing sound guidance based on science to reviewers. And we also assess on the timeliness of reviews when they were submitted, and we come up with like a mean score. So those that are in the top 1-2% of the peer reviewers, we recognize them with a formal letter, right? And we also post their names on the journal's website.
There are no incentives to being a peer reviewer other than being a peer reviewer. And the key there is to see material in your field that you're interested in before everybody else sees it.
Yep, that's an incentive.
And to be able to say, I work for transplantation. Mm-hmm. So while, an impact factor of 6.2 at the moment is not spectacular in the publishing field, it is one of the top 3 journals in our field. Yeah. AJT, 8, Journal Heart Lung Transplantation, and us. And so you're working for the premier international journal, and that is worth having on your curriculum vitae. It's also a training ground for authors. Mm-hmm. If you haven't peer-reviewed papers, you're not going to be a good author. And people know that. Once you've peer-reviewed other people's work and analyzed that work, you really understand that there are certain features that you haven't put into your paper that you expect to be there. And so you're a better author. So my argument for peer reviewers is if you want to be a better author, do the peer review.
So in the beginning, there's some orientation training that's going to occur, right? Why do we do the work that we do in scientific publishing? Why are publications of this sort necessary? What's good research? What's good science? And then how do you critique published peer review process? Behind the scene, what goes into identifying when a paper, what is the infrastructure of a journal? And then we're going to give them an opportunity to critique. We're going to give them an opportunity to even help us think about what are some potential great topics that the journal can take on. We might do a focus issue based on your feedback. What do you think we need to do? And we will pair them with an associate editor when it comes time for them to review a paper so that they can get the feedback from the associate editor. Along the way, they will be introduced to experts in various different fields who will come to the table, not to do a lecture on, let's say, for example, a certain epidemiological method and approach. They may talk a little bit about that, but we've lined up, I think at this point, like 16, 18 presenters for the entire year who have been given one question, and that is, what were the things you undertook to develop your career, and how can you share that experience with eager, students who are trying to think about what they want to do, and then open it up for question and answers so that they can just have an opportunity to ask these very well-established individuals from diverse background and experiences questions about how did you do that? And I think that if we're able to do that, pairing them up with the associate editor, have them to hear and listen to individuals who are established in the real world, giving them some practical on-the-ground experiences, and having them to do efforts and projects together collectively as a group will help them to be able to understand that the world cannot operate within one person, one discipline, or in one geographic location or one institution. We need a bit of it all.
There are complications in that. Running an early career review program is not as easy as you might think because, people have obviously different kinds of expertise and they don't always match perfectly the subject material of the manuscripts we take. And so some people get asked to review quite a lot and others less so. So that's one of the things we've struggled with. But pairing them with the associate editors has certainly helped. And yeah, it has thus far been a one-on-one pairing. As I said, we're exploring how to expand this and probably will be looking at other options for the future.
One of the things our peer reviewers have asked us to provide to them is we took some time years back for each of the article types that we have is to provide to authors a checklist on what makes for strong paper. We've even provided training videos on how to generate tables, how to generate figures, and our peer reviewers have asked to make sure that as soon as we update that, and we update that annually, that we provide that tool to them because they use that to also do their assessment of a paper's strengths and weaknesses. And then we have also more recently come up with Wednesday tips, where we may find that we see observations across peer reviewers, things that they're doing right.